Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor. Welcome to Monday Mastery Intuitive Energy Reading. This is a timeless reading. Whenever you find it, it applies to you. I will briefly take just a couple of minutes to cover the solar weather, the Schumann resonance, and anything else that is coming up. And then we will dive into what is the energy that we've just experienced and what is the guidance for how we move forward. Boy, it has been a week. So nothing too crazy from the solar weather perspective. Again, a lull relative to typical solar maximum periods, but that's okay. We have plenty of other energy to deal with. So I'm not really missing out. I don't know about you, but it's enough. It's sufficient. Last Monday, we ended up with 16 C-class solar flares and 1 M-class. The rest of the week is pretty similar. Tuesday, 7 C-class, Wednesday, 5 M-class, and again, 7 C-class. So just kind of a handful of C-class flares and the one-off M-class flare throughout the week until yesterday. We had quite a bit of activity yesterday, which was fun, I guess you could say. We had an X-class solar flare, depending on your time zone, Saturday evening. The way it's measured is UTC time, so it counts as yesterday, but it was a very strong X-class solar flare. So that certainly brought in some activation to add to the somewhat unstable feeling energy that we have experienced over this past week. And while we didn't have a lot of, there was also a Schumann resonance spike on Wednesday and then mild elevation on Thursday. I'm surprised we didn't see any with the political environment. So usually, and it's been said that these instruments are now being adjusted since the public is paying attention more now than ever. So who knows? I like to use my body as the barometer, and oftentimes I can sense these things before they're registering on the devices anyways. So trust yourself as always. The energy this past week certainly has felt wobbly or unstable or a little bit chaotic. Many people were very aggravated. Activated could also be another word. There's a lot of irritation available, whether it was, just a cat meowing or a boss who's upset. Many people were seen throwing fits like toddlers, which was interesting to watch. But surprisingly, that would also move through pretty quickly. So it was just kind of this up and down, which is very typical of the type of energy that you would see with the astrological events that we were experiencing. So Mars and Uranus were coming together. In fact, I believe they're exact today. And so it's not a surprise. The energy is certainly moving very fast. It is also kind of scattered feeling. There was a challenge in focus earlier on in the week, and yet that kind of moved into being more productive, getting a lot done, especially Friday. So depending on how grounded you are, that will determine how you experience the energy, as well as how much internal chaos you have naturally, or if you have a lot of unhealed trauma. This could be very aggravating. Whereas if you've done a lot of the healing work and you're closing those stress responses in your body, emptying your stress cup, then things like these times can be a bit more manageable, and maybe even a little more fun, allowing yourself to detach from it and kind of just stand back and watch everyone else get a little bit activated. Certainly there is some testing, right? We're all being tested by this energy. And again, it really is indicative of how much work have you done? How stabilized is your own internal environment? And that tends to influence how you receive or manage this energy. I'm receiving sort of guidance around, this is sort of the testing ground or the training ground for what is to come. And we've talked many times in recent past around the topic of being able to stand still in the eye of the storm, to watch the chaos happening around you and still be able to cultivate that internal environment that stands still, stands strong, stands in certainty. I love the phrase, the peace that passes all understanding. That can only come from a relationship with God and Christ, and understanding that you are cared for, and that not only will this too shall pass, but also this is leading to something amazing. This is leading to heaven on earth. So it's exciting to watch things fall apart. It sounds silly, I know, but that is the peace that passes all understanding. And remembering that this is what we came here for. This is what this is all of the lessons and the things that we have gone through, all of the trauma and the healing and the internal work that we have done has been preparing us for this time. And a beautiful lesson in our ability to take our power back. And that phrase has been used quite a bit, especially in the spiritual world for quite some time now. It may even seem overplayed to some, and it is taking on new life for me. And that is going to be the theme of our guidance for today. Let's take this to the next level. Taking our power back means so much more than just eliminating people or things that are not serving us. And again, that's another overplayed phrase that I'm very much hesitant to use. And yet it's important to sort of call out or point to. We've desensitized ourselves to these phrases, taking our power back and letting go of things that no longer serve us. We're kind of like, yeah, I'm doing that all the time. I'm annoyed with that phrase because it doesn't mean anything to me anymore. And so taking our power back, it's bringing in new guidance, and it's taking on new life. It has a new meaning. And so let's kind of dig into that today. Taking our power back is also partially connected to being willing to be powerful. And those of us who are heart-centered beings, who are driven by doing the right thing, usually comes with a lot of complex trauma, troubled childhoods, very difficult upbringings that partially shaped us into people of high integrity, a strong, almost palpable desire to do the right thing and an unwillingness to do the wrong thing. Part of this understanding of the body and the nervous system and trauma healing is our capacity and our ability to do difficult things is prohibited by unhealed trauma because the nervous system just can't handle it. And so we are so innately driven towards doing the right thing that we will shy away from something like being powerful or shining brightly or rocking the boat or making people uncomfortable, because as a child, making people upset meant pain and suffering. And so the nervous system, the implicit memory of the body, decided we don't do those things. And that's why the trauma healing is so important. That's why I offer free 30-minute sessions, link below. Because we, as heart-centered beings, light workers, the salt of the earth, however you want to say it, we came here to be the bridge from the old world to the new world. And that requires being powerful. That requires rocking the boat. That requires being willing to trigger other people and being able to say, you're welcome, instead of I'm sorry. Right. And so this is not on my notes. So this is definitely, guidance is pulling that through right now. So let's make friends with being powerful. Let's make friends with the fact that taking our power back is going to mean so much more than just eliminating the things that no longer serve us, right? We can learn to be powerful through love. You don't have to do the wrong thing. You don't have to be a mean person. You don't have to hurt people. To be a light warrior. Instead of light workers, we're stepping into being warriors for what is good, for what is right. This is more than just, it's more than just the alchemy of turning everything into love and light. Certainly that's part of it, is recognizing this is not working, this is not beautiful, this is not of the divine, and it needs to shift and change. And certainly transmuting that is partially involving moving it into love and light, but it's also taking it in even further beyond that and commanding the authority to say, this is no longer going to happen. I'm not just going to transmute this one situation or this one dynamic or this one environment, but I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen again. And learning how to do that, that's what I'm about to walk you through. And I probably will dig deeper into this in this week's video because, of course, this is just an energy reading. I can't get into the nuts and bolts of how. I will briefly cover it and then make sure you're subscribed so you get this weekend's video on the exact how-to do this, right? We have to learn to command our power and authority. And it is so, and I just love the goosebumps. I wish I could show them to you. The camera's not quite that detail oriented, but this is so much bigger than we ever could have imagined, and it gets to be fun. This is I personally love this piece of it because it doesn't feel like sitting duck anymore. It doesn't feel like, oh, I'm just going to meditate it away. No, I get to do something about it, right? We have been given authority over the darkness, and we have given the darkness too much credit. They're actually not all that smart. They're actually weak and dumb and cowards who hide in the dark. They actually shudder. And there's even a Bible verse that says that the demons believe that there is one God and they shudder, knowing that there is one true God, that they have fear of those of us who are aware of our power and authority, that the darkness will flee. And I love the analogy of turning on a light in a dark room, because when the light is shown, the darkness has to run away, that the light always overpowers the darkness, right? That we were told that we have been given authority to trample over the evil, that nothing can harm us. But we have to understand how to wield that power and authority. And that comes through having the relationship with God and with Christ, to live a Christ-like life, to raise the chrism oil in your body, to have a relationship with Christ, to learn how to communicate and discern the will of God, and to have a relationship with the Holy Spirit. And if you get into, the Trinity and all of that, I don't want to dig into the nuances of that and confuse it, but just know that we need to work with all three aspects, right? The divine is always highest priority, always the number one. And if that's all you can wrap your head around, start there. Don't let the semantics of this conversation get in the way, but know that Christ is here as our avenue, as the guide and the example of how to do these things. And the Holy Spirit is how we receive that guidance. All right. So just know you are a child of God, and that means nothing can touch you. And if you take anything away from today, let that be the number one statement that you start to repeat in your mind as you start to embody the understanding that I am powerful and I cannot be touched. Let the takeaway from today be, I am a child of God. You cannot touch me. If you have anything like night terrors, or you feel that there is a spirit or a demon or a darkness in your life that you struggle with, let that statement be your first avenue towards learning to fight the spiritual battle. Let it be your sword, if you will. Let it be your weapon. Imagine in your mind's eye any difficult situation that you're dealing with, whether it's a night terror or just an unhappy person on the street. Imagine putting your feet on the ground, because it's very, very important. That is our source. That is our origin, our mother. Well, God is our source, but he created us through the dirt, right? So Mother Earth, putting your feet on the ground, whether in your mind's eye or for real, put your feet on the ground and you say, I'm a child of God. You cannot touch me. And let that be sort of your practice, right? That's your lifting weights at the spiritual gym. Start to wield your power in that way. I am a child of God. You cannot touch me. And remember, we were given dominion. They cannot touch us without our permission. And we have to understand, how do we give permission? When we fear something, we have given it power over us, right? If I choose to believe that the powers that be in the world today are dominating me and I'm a victim and I have no control, I have given them power. And I do, and forgive me, I meant to mention this earlier, I do want to acknowledge carefully, because I don't want my channel to get flagged, that there is a lot of crap happening in the world today. The political environment, the thing that just happened a couple days ago, it's not a joke. It's a very serious thing. And I want to acknowledge that carefully. I choose not to speak directly about these things on this channel because I am focused on building heaven on earth. And I was going to mention this later, but it's coming through now, so we're going to reference it. We are straddling two worlds right now. The old world that is dying, where the darkness seemed to have power and authority, and we gave it power and authority. But we've got one foot in the new world. And that's where my focus and attention needs to be, because that is my role, is to help assist in building heaven on earth. There are others whose role is to be a warrior to fight the old world. And that's great. That's not the role of this channel, but I am here to support those of you who are aware of that. So yes, what happened politically was scary and it's okay. And God's always in charge and the light will always win. So we're just going to leave it there. This is again, I will not take sides. All children are children of God. All people are children of God, and grace is available to everyone. And so we will not draw party lines here. Okay. So continuing on. When we fear something, we have given it our power. And that's because we are the ones holding the power in the first place, right? Complacency is also surrendering our power and authority. If we willfully follow like sheep and choose to believe whatever we're told without doing our own due diligence, we are giving our power away. Right? If somebody tells me the sky is purple and I go, okay, the sky is purple, I'm responsible for believing a lie because I have not done my due diligence. I didn't go out and check, is that true? Right? In this same way, we become blind. We become ineffective. We have been rendered ineffective when we give someone else the power and we just say, okay, I'll do whatever you say, or I'll believe whatever you tell me. In doing that is kind of like putting a bushel over your light. For some reason, that's what comes to mind. Putting a lid on your light, hiding your light. When we are not stepping into our own power and authority, and we are not cultivating that relationship with the divine, receiving direct guidance, and living a source-led life, we are rendered ineffective. Our light is hidden. We are no longer assisting in creating heaven on earth, right? When we fail to use our discernment, we become victims to those who want to deceive us. And so we have a responsibility not to give our power away in these ways. The good news is if we have, great, no big deal. Every moment is a new moment of grace. We get to take our power back in every single moment. Now, remember this. We don't need to we don't need to beg. We don't need to hope. We don't need to believe. We don't need to wait. The time is now. You get to command with authority. Know again that you have been given dominion over the earth, and we have a responsibility to utilize that power and authority to steward not only our own internal resources, but also to take care of and steward the world's resources. And the best part about this, the fun part that I love, is that we get to get kind of sassy. We get to fight back and say, no more fear, right? We get to get a little pissy with it, right? The dark has had their time and their time is up. Enough is enough. It's that simple. And yeah, it's going to look a little bit chaotic and messy. And if you follow me, you know, I use the example of having all the stuff piled up in the closet and the door shut. And in order to clean that closet, you have to bring all the stuff out and make a mess on the floor. This is where we're at collectively, globally, as a society of humanity. We are emptying the crap out of the closet that's always been there. It's just we get to see and smell and look at how yucky it is right now. But remember, their time is up. Enough is enough, right? Even the demons feared Jesus and begged him not to torment them sheerly by his presence, right? We actually have the same ability, that we were told that we could do what Jesus did and even greater, right? Because Christ lives within you. The body is the temple for the Holy Spirit, right? You cannot be closer to the power and authority gifted to you by the creator of the universe that lives in you, right? We were also told in the same verse where he said that we could do what he did even and more and greater. He also said, and I will do whatever you ask in my name so that the Father may be glorified. So ask me for anything in my name and I will do it. Now, I will clarify that. This is kind of getting into the manifestation route. I don't need to go into the details of that. I've got courses if you want to know more. But if you ask for something that is ego driven, it's going to be really hard to obtain. But if you ask for something in the will of God, it happens quickly, easily, and effortlessly, right? So it might seem like we're dealing with a lot of evil people in the world today, but we have to remember, even though you might encounter someone who is very unhappy, very miserable, sharing their yuckiness with everyone else, it's easy for us to look at that person and go, what a jerk, what a bad person, what a horrible person you must be. But if you can step into a healed place and a detached place and really start to pull back as the observer watching what is happening in the world today, you can see that every single thing a person does comes from a belief of needing to do that thing to survive. They're operating out of fear. And so we can have compassion and we can remember the people who are doing the things actually think they need to do it to survive. And also, they are being driven by darkness, by the spirits, by the ones who came to polarize to the dark. They are being controlled. So remember, this is not a physical battle. This is a spiritual one. And that's the good news. We don't have to wait to start to fight the battle. It is not physical. You don't have to go and work out and get strong. No, you can start to temper the darkness right now from the comfort of your own home. Now, I want to acknowledge that this seems a little bit weird. This seems a little bit dorky, even. That I am, as a recovered perfectionist type A personality in the corporate business world, I very much for a long time was shy about even acknowledging that I was a spiritual person, let alone my belief in God and all of these things. So I just want you to know that I'm well aware of how strange this could seem. And yet, because I am fully committed to living a source-led life, I am called to speak to this, and I am following the guidance, no matter how strange it might be, right? So I am beyond convinced, as convinced that the sun will rise tomorrow, that we are fighting a spiritual war, that we are light warriors, not just light workers, and that it's time to start wielding our sword of light. And we do that by starting to talk to God. Just start talking to God. He wants to talk to you. Trust the first thought you receive. So questions are the best way to start understanding or cultivating the communication. Start to ask questions and you will quickly receive an answer. Believe the first thing that you hear, because that is usually intuition or guidance. Anything after that is the voice of trauma or the ego trying to rationalize things, right? Talk to God, talk to Jesus, talk to the Holy Spirit, ask for guidance, ask for your daily bread. Stay here today, work on today, because tomorrow will have its own challenges. So stay focused in the present, but start talking to God about what's present for you right now. Then the next step is to start praying. Meditation is great. Meditation is extraordinarily helpful from a psychological perspective, from a nervous system management perspective. Being able to calm your body and move out of activation into rest, digest, healing, growth, repair is absolutely critical. But sometimes it's not all about the silence, although be still and know that I am God. So you have to be able to still yourself to receive the guidance, but it's a two-way conversation. I like to use the analogy of playing Marco Polo with God. Ask for questions, receive the guidance, take the action, and repeat that cycle. But start learning to pray. I think there's some confusion that praying has always been like, dear God, please help me, right? No begging. No. Prayer is a conversation, right? Just have conversation with God, but do it with conviction. Do it with authority. Do it with strong, powerful assertion behind it, right? And start to utilize that power, your power of prayer, your power of communication, your power of commanding energy, I think is probably the best way to put it. Because I say so, it becomes so. And not because of me egoically, but because this is what God has put on my heart. This is what God is calling me to, right? If you ask within his will, that's where the power and authority moves through, right? So pray with certainty that your prayers are going to be answered, right? Pray for the ones that you love, right? God help the people that I love who are not awake and aware, right? Give them guidance, give them provision, give them peace, give them comfort, right? You can see how that's commanding, right? I'm asking because you told me I could ask, and you promised me that when I did ask, it would be answered, but I'm asking for someone else, right? I'm asking for the collective whole, right? Ask for the ones you love, send them healing, send them clarity, send them guidance. Do this for our leaders, for the people who are in charge, for the people who are fighting for the good, right? Pray for the guidance and strength of our leaders who are in the front lines of this battle, right? Ask, command with authority that the plans of the darkness be stopped now. Command with authority, healing for your mind, body, and soul. Ask for the guidance towards your purpose. Command that your needs be met in order to fulfill your purpose, right? Apply this to your own life too, but not egoically, right? God, what is your will for my life? Okay, now that I have that clarity, give me the provision, give me the guidance, give me the support. This really ties closely into the video I just did last week too, about aligning to your highest self and aligning to your highest timeline, because there's this felt sense of feeling into, what do you want for my life? And we have so confused things historically by saying that emotion is bad, or that you don't need to feel good, or that you should somehow suppress your needs and desires. Bull crap. I'm going to call that as wrong and false. God put within us. Our body is it's like a tuning fork, or a divining tool, right? If it feels like crap, it's on the wrong path, right? I have a perspective that needs to shift, or I'm believing a lie of some sort. Feeling rightness in my body, not just goodness, right? It doesn't always feel good. Like this for me is not super awesome. It's not terrible, but I feel the rightness in my body of knowing that I'm doing what I'm being called to do. Right. So utilize your body to know, am I asking for the right thing? Am I asking in the right vein? Am I aligning to my highest timeline? What is the perspective that is wrong or leaning more towards a false belief that needs to be shifted, and do that perspective dance? I'm not going to repeat that video. Go watch the video that just posted this last weekend. I'll link it at the end here. And then move into gratitude, right? When you command, it is so, and you have gratitude for the promise, right? Thank you, God, that you promised me. I know that what I asked for is within your will. I know that the desires that you have put on my heart are pointing me towards the purpose and the life that you want me to live, so that I can be of service to the collective whole. Then you move into gratitude. Thank you. Thank you. It is done. It is already done. I know it's done. I'm certain it's done. I live in faith and certainty because you have promised me that you will meet that need, right? And then literally get excited, celebrate, right? This is the live as if piece of manifestation. It is done. It is done, because if you are certain that you asked within the will of God, and you are moving without ego, you can rest assured. Sometimes it does take a little bit of time, sometimes a couple months, sometimes a couple years, but it doesn't really matter, because you get to live in faith and certainty at that point. And that is where you start to tap into that peace that passes all understanding. And then you get to celebrate, right? We get to celebrate that we get to experience heaven on earth. I get to celebrate. I get to be part of creating the new earth. Like I get to, and I know this sounds kind of strange. Maybe not. I won't even say that. It's good for me, and there's likely a collective of you that are like me, but I love the idea of thinking of myself as like an Amazon woman who gets to kick demon butt. I think that's fun. I like how powerful prayer can be. I love feeling the energy that moves through my body when I am asking for something that is in God's will, and I know that nothing can stop it. That is super fun. It made me think of the Superwoman video where I think it's Gal Gadot. I'm probably not going to say her name right, but she's part of the Amazon woman tribe in the early stages of that movie, and it's like, right, we get to kick butt. This is kind of fun. And for all the guys out there, I discovered today, because of that analogy, that there were Gargarian warriors who were the equivalent to the Amazon women, and apparently they would come together and procreate every so often, even though they focused on training women separately and training men separately. But point being, we are powerful. We are powerful. It is time for humanity to wake up. They cannot keep doing what they've been doing. Their time is up. I am covered in goosebumps. I'm loving this. It's time for us to start training. And it's a little different than putting on a physical shield or a physical breastplate, but we do get to put on the armor of God. And it's a little bit lighter and more fun to wield. So it's time. It's time. It's super fun for me, especially personally, because from the time that I committed to stepping into my purpose, the first vision that was given to me was helping others step into their purpose. And then from there, it became clear that it is complex trauma that keeps us from stepping into our purpose, which is why I became a trauma healer. Again, I offer free 30-minute sessions. Link below. I'm committed to doing that for the indefinite future. I don't know how long that'll go on. I think actually probably a long time, which I'm really excited about, because God is my provider. And so I get to offer to those in need. But point being, stepping into your purpose requires healing the trauma that causes your system to feel so overwhelmed that you can't move into this. Then from there, stepping into your purpose. So step into your purpose, heal your trauma, take your power back. Then you can receive the guidance and start to be powerful and make friends with being powerful and actually get really excited about it. So we get to take back this beautiful earth that we were gifted dominion over by God. It is exciting, exciting times. We're in like the last stretch. It's kind of like running a marathon where you're at like 26 miles and you got the 0.2 left. Like we're at the 0.2. You can see the finish line. We've got a few months through the end of this year, maybe even a little bit into 25 is sort of the cleanup. But things are going to start getting good. Things are going to start getting good, and it's exciting, and you get to be part of it, and you don't have to even leave your comfort of your couch. For those of you who are still stuck in the isolation phase, again, that's an unhealed trauma response, so reach out if you need help. But anywho, I do want to mention just sort of a point of guidance. Be careful, because it's not something to get complacent about. Yes, have fun with it. Yes, be powerful, but keep your wits about you, especially this week. And in through the remainder of this year. This week in particular, like I said, we've got Mars Uranus today. That is exact today, but of course what happened a couple days ago is indicative that the themes or the keywords for that aspect is unexpected disruptive events. So obviously we saw that play out. We've got Uranus, Mars, Saturn, and Pluto all in play this week leading up to the full moon that is on July 21st. I believe 6:17 a.m. Central Time. That's important because you feel the buildup 3 days before and the release 3 days after. But then August astrology looks pretty hairy too, and even through the rest of the year. So keep your head down, keep your eyes open, avoid conflict, be prepared, and be aware. Stay away from volatile situations. Do not act emotionally. From a psychological neuroscience perspective, you cannot act intelligently if you are acting from emotion. You are either in your limbic system, emotional brain, or you are in your executive function, intelligent brain. But if your emotions are running high, you are not thinking clearly. So you must stay calm, be rational. Right? Connect to God, put your feet on the ground, make sure you are coming from a grounded, balanced, calm, peaceful place, and then take your guided action. Right? Remember, God always wins. God always wins. So stay confident, be prepared, get excited for the future. Remember, we're straddling these two worlds, and the most important factor as it relates to that is your focus and attention creates. That's why we live in a focus and attention economy. That's why every single app has all of these little red bubbles that says, hey, come pay attention to me. They need your focus and attention to be able to create. So put it on what you want to create. Stay focused on the new world, unless, of course, your job is to fight the old. But remember, the old is dying, and the new world is what we're creating through our focus and attention. All right, let's have fun with it. Reach out, comment below if you have questions about this. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe so that you can see the video coming next on the weekend, probably Saturday, provided it all goes well. Oh, and check out this week's video. We'll put it over here on how to align to your highest self and your highest timeline. I love you, my friends, and I'll see you on the next one. Namaste.